Hey guys, Breton here with the Boyle County Public Library. Today we are making a super fun sock monster, and so we're going to look at the supplies that we have, the supplies you'll need, and then we'll get right into the instructions. Alright, hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so in your packet you will have some instructions. You will have a sock, some embroidery floss, an embroidery needle. You'll also have some polyfill and a couple of buttons. The supplies you'll need from home are a pair of scissors. So our first step is to make the sock lay flat in a way that the heel is facing up and it's laying flat otherwise. Just like this. And then what we're going to do is take our scissors and we're going to make a cut about 1.5 to 2 inches down the middle of the toe. Our next step is to cut off part of the cuff of the sock, this part here, and this is going to be the material we use for our arms. So I would say about 1.5 inches. You can just cut off a piece of the cuff there. Okay, and now with our cuff we're going to cut this into 2 pieces, and these are going to be our arms. We can set those off to the side. Now our next step is to take a cut. Our next step is to make a small cut right here to make the feet. Okay, looks just like that. Alright, now that we've made all of our cuts, we will turn the sock inside out. And now we are ready to stitch the ears, these guys right here. Taking your embroidery floss, we're going to take off 1 strand of floss. So as you can see, there are many strands of floss, and we're just going to pull off 1 of those. Remember to go a little bit slow when taking your floss off. If you don't go slow, then it will knot up on you, and that can be really tricky to undo. So just go slow, and you'll be able to pull off one strand of your embroidery floss. Set the rest to the side. So at this point, what you're going to want to do is pull the string through your needle so that the ends of your string line up. And what we're going to do is make a knot in these two ends at the end of your thread. So you can do that just by twisting it around your finger and putting the tail end through your loop to make a knot. Sorry if I'm not in focus. So, knot. Alright. Taking your ears, we're going to go from the back to the front through both sides of the material, and we're going to pull the needle through right here so that it makes a knot right in the middle of your ears. Then what we can do is just stitch the ears going from back to front. All the way up the one side, and then we'll come back and go up the other side. When we get to the top of the ear, what we're going to do is take a little bit of string, pull it through, and then we're going to go through the loop that we made to make a little knot. Again, take a little bit of the string, to make a loop, pull the needle through the loop to make a knot. And then you're going to take our scissors and trim off right here. Okay? And now we just repeat the process for the other side of the ear. Alright, and once we're done with the ears, they're going to look like this. It's not really that pretty, but that's because we are still working with the sock inside out, and after the next step we are going to turn it outside in so that we can stuff it. Alright, our next step is to sew together one of these feet. And our next step is to sew together one of these feet. So we're going to go from one side, go through, remember to go back through to make a knot, just like so. And again, we're going to go from the back to the front, all the way along the foot to stitch it closed. Sometimes you'll get a knot like this. If you kind of put your needle through one of the loops and pull, it should come loose. Should. Now that we've stitched one of these feet, we're going to put the sock outside in so that we can start stuffing. So you just take the one foot and slowly work out the material through the hole until everything comes out the other side. Sometimes in life you just gotta keep working things until they come out on the other side. The important thing is to not give up. Just keep on keeping on. Alright, and our guy so far looks like this. We have a couple of ears up top. We have the heel here, and one of our feet is stitched. It looks a little funny. You can stick your finger in here and kind of manipulate it a little bit to make it look different. But after all, it is a monster, so it can look silly or different. It can look however you want it to look. Alright, at this point what we're going to do is start stuffing. Notice I haven't taken my needle off of my work. I'm just kind of resting it down on the table. The first part that I like to stuff is up into the ears, to make sure I get those done first. So you just kind of push the stuffing up into the different parts of your monster. Don't forget to put some stuffing in our little foot here. Also be sure to get some stuffing in the heel. This is going to be our mouth, and having some stuffing there will be helpful in the next step. Alright, so now that we have everything stuffed, we're going to close this foot. So you just kind of like tuck the stuffing in a little bit, and what I like to do is kind of turn these edges inward a little bit and kind of hold it there and then sew that way. Alright, so we're going to sew our foot closed. So again, like I said before, I like to tuck these little edges inward so that it looks a little bit nicer. And then stitch that way. It might come out looking a little wonky, and that's okay. It's a monster after all. Alright, at this point what we're going to do is pick up the last stitch, put our needle through this loop, and pull it tight to make a knot. And do that one more time. Pick up a stitch, go through the loop, and then pull it tight for a knot. Okay, so to make this little string hide that, what we're going to do is go through into the work and out at a random spot and pull it through. So it's kind of tucked in there. And then take your scissors and cut the string here. And then you can kind of like work the material to make that string go back inside of the work. Alright, now at this point what we can do is kind of work the stuffing down into the foot, and this is where we are. Our next step is to make the mouth, and the way that we're going to do this is to find the heel. Okay. We're going to take our needle and go up through the legs and come out at the bottom part of the heel. Right there. And just pull your needle through, so that it goes inside. Now what we're going to do is make a stitch here by going about this far over, like this. So the string is about halfway through our stitch. And then gently pull this through. Okay. Don't pull too tight. Next, what we're going to do is go up through the bottom part, and we're going to come out halfway through the heel and go back in and come back out at the top of the heel there. See that? Okay, then we're going to go from the top through the middle and down to the bottom. I'm going to do that a couple of times, back and forth, so to make the lips. So at this point we can pull the string a little bit tight to make our little lips there. And then here we can tie off our string like we've done before. Alright guys, so the next step is to sew on the eyes, and the way that we're going to do this is first pick up about 1/4 inch of fabric like this. See that? And pull it through. And we're going to pick up the end where we've made our knot to make another knot, so that we have. Then what we're going to do is take our button and put the needle through one of the holes in the middle so that it's on the string. And then what we'll do is go through the opposite. Then what we'll do is put the button near the fabric, go through the opposite hole, and pick up a little bit of fabric on the back side and pull that through. Okay. Now at this point what we're going to do is take our needle and go up through a different hole that doesn't have string in it. Pull it through. Then go through the opposite hole and pick up some fabric underneath. Okay, pull that through. And just repeat that process a couple of times. So right now our string is behind the button, so we'll go up through a hole. Okay, go through the opposite hole and pick up a little bit of fabric. Once you're done, you can pick up a little bit of fabric underneath so that we can tie off our string. So pick up a little bit, go through the loop, and pull it tight to make a knot. Do it again for good measure. And then cut it off. Now we're ready to make the arms. So taking one of your pieces of cuff, we're going to flip it inside out, except I'm going to keep mine outside in because I want this black piece to show. Alright guys, now we're ready to do the arms. So you're going to take a piece of your cuff, and what we're going to do is sew 2 of these edges, leaving one edge side open. Okay? Alright, so after we've sewn 2 sides, we're going to flip this inside out, or outside in, and we're going to stuff it just a little bit through our opening here. Now that we have it stuffed, we're going to tuck in the rough edges, just like so. And this and we're going to sew the arm onto the side of our little monster. So the way we do this is we're just going to pick up a little bit of the arm and pick up a little bit of the fabric and sew the 2 pieces together. Okay? Do that all the way around the arm. Alright, and this is what our monster looks like with one arm. Just do the same thing for the other arm. So we're going to sew 2 edges and leave 1 edge open. Now it doesn't take a lot for the arms, just a little bit will do. And then, like before, we're going to tuck in the rough edges. To get this and then we can sew it onto our monster. Alright, and after you have your second arm sewed on, you are all set to go with your fun sock monster. Alright, so there you have it, our fun sock monster DIY. If you enjoyed this, let us know, and keep an eye out for our next DIY project. Alright, bye guys.